Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I thought let's try something a bit different and do a kind of gaming podcast. Now I'm joined by someone you will know if you've seen my videos from a few years ago, from the Dead Space videos, and his name is Dan. So hello Dan, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you
London
loud and
calling.
clear.
Well, Norwich calling, but you get the
Yeah,
idea.
I nearly broke into a jam then.
Did you? That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Now I've got all these lists of questions, but and if you can hear in the background, Dan is playing Battlefield at the minute. So, um,
Yeah, I apologise for the
no, don't worry
background.
about that. We are all
Antisocial.
gamers, so why
Working
not?
out on the rage.
That's because he's talking to me. You see, he has to get the rage out in another way.
That's right.
So the obvious question is, when did you get into gaming? It's got to be the obvious question.
That's a good question, actually, Steve. So I'm a child. Well, I was born in the 70s, so I'm a little bit out of touch with technology anyway. But my grandmother had a Spectrum.
Oh yeah, and
Um,
that's the one console I never owned.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it was. Well, I had a lot of games. A lot of the games were really playable, really fun, really simple. Took half an hour to load if load at all. One of my favourite games on there was Chucky Egg. I think it's popular with a lot of people that use the Spectrum. Eric and the Floaters, Splat. Loads of really good titles in it. Really simple games, really addictive, really playable. And I guess that's when I got into gaming.
I see. Sorry, I was just clearing my throat, so I thought I'd better mute myself. Now, I will tell everyone how we met the first time we met, because it was quite funny. We were playing multiplayer Halo 2, weren't we?
I've got to stop you there. But where's the romantic music? If you can tell
Oh,
me
and
what
sorry.
game
Oh,
we're
yeah,
playing.
sorry. I didn't mean romantically how we met. I meant how we. No. Basically, we were playing multiplayer Halo 2, weren't we? And we were on the same team. And I can't remember who invited me. Well, it doesn't matter who invited me. But I accidentally, should we say, pushed Dan in front of the enemy.
Yeah, I was very upset.
Yeah, I can't blame Dan. I did apologise, but I don't know why or how we became friends after that. We just sort of kept on. You just came back for punishment, didn't you? That's what it was.
I think you hunted me down and
Well,
kept
yeah.
pestering me till eventually I just gave in. I think that's how it worked, Steve.
Well, I probably did
But
try and stalk you, but no, I didn't. So that was all fun. Yeah. So yeah, we've known each other a few years now.
yeah, it's
Playing,
been a good while.
yeah, playing, staying up late, playing Lost. Was it Lost Odyssey on the 360? Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure it was.
we did a little bit of that, yeah. We've done a lot of different things, Steve, haven't we? I
Oh,
think
yes, and we
Dead Space would be the one.
and
We've
we
done a
played The
lot.
Last of Us, which we didn't record, and that was when it was. We play it on the PS3 or was that on the PS4? PS4 maybe.
No, I think I was treated to the Redux version.
Oh, what the
Played that
remastered
through.
version? Yeah,
Mm. And yeah, that could be. I mean, if you were to ask me for my top 10 gaming moments, that would definitely be up there. That was a fantastic game. That.
yeah, that was good. That was the first time I'd ever played it. Oh no, that's wrong. I think I had started it, but I didn't get very far in it. Excuse me.
I
Yeah, so
think
that's
you set the scene there. I think we got uh you'd gotten stuck, hadn't you? And I
yeah. Well,
picked it up.
no
You'd asked me
surprise
for
there.
help, and I picked it up, and
Did we
yeah,
restart it then?
you barely got into you. We barely got into the game. Well, I think
Yeah,
you're right. Because the game starts at a walkthrough of the town after the tragedy with this girl, and then you've
yeah,
got the walkthrough of the town after all that's the rage or whatever's gone that happened, and you're not far into your kind of excursion to
yeah,
go and find the girl with the girl, and you go in underground and you meet the creatures for the first time. I can't remember what they're called now.
yeah. I can't remember either. That's bad, isn't it?
It's been
Well,
such a
there's
long time since I
kind
played.
of like zombies, really, aren't they? Kind of like
Yeah,
that.
I guess so. Yeah, sort of like Night Stalker type creatures. If
Yeah,
anybody's played the game, they're probably screaming at us. How can you forget? But um, yeah, those things. You couldn't get past those. So I picked up the pad, and then we didn't look back, did we? I think I was hooked.
Now we played it over a few days, didn't we?
Yeah, but the voice acting, the storyline, from an emotional point of view, I haven't been enjoying to a game like that. I can't think of another game off the top of my head that drew me in
Yeah.
so completely from an emotional point of view. Oh, sorry, a tank's trying to blow me up while I'm having a conversation with you. A
It's
tank
alright.
did blow me up while I was having a conversation with you. Serves me right for getting spoiled.
Well, when we are able to see each other again because of lovely COVID, you can help me with Last of Us 2 because I'm stuck on that now.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I have seen a little bit of that.
It's very different. That's all I'll say. I won't give anything away because you might not know the story. So,
Yeah, I didn't get too far in.
so okay,
Yeah, okay.
you talked about the Spectrum and everything. Do you have a favourite console?
Yeah, I think it is the PlayStation 2.
Ah,
I think. Why? Just
well,
because it was um so good at the time. It's such a reliable console as well. Um,
well, you
you know,
talked. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. Then, do you love it when it goes out your head? PlayStation 2. Well, there was a lot of good games on the PlayStation 2. That came out a little bit after the Dreamcast. Because I bought the Dreamcast and then my friend had a
okay.
PlayStation 2. And I was like, oh no, the Dreamcast is better. And he's like, oh no, the PlayStation 2 is better. And the PlayStation 2 did handle things a lot better, I must admit. I don't know where my voice is going tonight.
The Dreamcast was a quality machine. I didn't own one, but I certainly had quite a bit of gameplay on the machine with friends who did own one.
That was where
If I remember
Sky.
rightly,
Sorry.
they were expensive. The games were expensive. But
Yeah.
it was a high line piece of equipment. It was nice. Um,
Small for a console,
but I
wasn't it?
don't think it had the titles. I think the PlayStation 2 at the time, Sony was dominating the market, and it was dominating the market with titles, and all the titles were the mainstream titles were on the PlayStation. I
Ah.
think that's probably why. But yeah, the PlayStation 2 itself, I think it it hung around for a long time. It was still a very good, sturdy machine. Um,
Didn't
and
it?
the titles kept coming out for it.
I think. No, I might be wrong here. You have to fact check me, someone. Did it sell 105 or 115 million units over its life? Something like that.
Oh goodness, that I couldn't tell you.
I was reading it the other day, but how reliable Wiki is, you just don't know, do you? But
Yeah.
yeah, I read something like that. Did you grow up, or were you a bit older when the Commodore Amigas came out in the 90s? Because they were all the rage for a lot of people.
Um, yeah, I do. I was around. I do remember, but again, I mean, our family were really backward as far as technology was concerned. We had a black and white TV well into the noughties.
Oh yeah,
So, uh, my experience of computing, home computing as well, I had a small amount of experiences with that, but that was when I was round other families' friends, or friends' family, should I say? I've got that the wrong way round.
yeah. I was going to ask you if you
And
played them more than there.
there were some loads of cracking games coming out. The Amiga definitely was a good machine.
Yeah,
Um, and the games on there, graphically, that sort of like I think it raised the benchmark when you compare that to the Spectrum.
oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was yeah. I didn't really have a lot of experience with that either. We did get a CX Spectrum for Christmas, sort of in our late teens or sort of mid early teens, shall I say?
Oh yeah.
And we did use that a bit. Again, the titles on there were pretty cool. Commando. But even then, I remember by the time we got Spectrum, things like the Master System and the Mega Drive were beginning to appear in the market.
Yeah.
And you could see straight away that there was those consoles were then taking it to another level. Simply because I think even then, as a kid, with the Spectrum, it was a cassette-based loading system. So you put a tape in, and it would take a long time to load, several minutes.
I
And
had
that's if
that.
it did actually load first time. Um, and then you start to see in the shops a cartridge-based system, and the cartridges going into the machines. I mean, gee, that just blew my mind. That blew my world. That did. And then of course, graphically, they were superior as well. Um, uh, and yeah, I remember dreaming of having owning one of these. I remember looking at the catalog and asking Mum if I could buy it through a catalog, and Dad was always going, no, 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 can't have one.
That's a
So
shame.
when I eventually had my first console, it was after I'd moved out, and it was a PlayStation 1. That was the latest console at the time. And yeah, I had plenty of joy out of that, playing Colin McRae and FIFA.
Yeah, I like Colin
Played
McRae.
my first experience of a proper RPG was on the PlayStation 1 as well.
Oh yeah, what
Courtesy
game?
of Chris Elms. He introduced me to Final Fantasy 7.
Ah, yes, a favourite, isn't it?
Yeah. So I then wasted hundreds of hours of my life playing that game. Um, and yeah, I guess the PlayStation 2 came out. By that time, Final Fantasy 10 came out, and I wasted hundreds of hours of my life playing that game too. Um, Along with a lot of games of FIFA and other games I enjoyed. Colin McRae I did enjoy quite a lot of as
Yeah,
well.
I like
He,
that.
um, I didn't really play beat 'em up games. I do remember. Oh my goodness, what console was that? Not the N64, was it? Of course, yeah, I forgot about that. In my sixth form era, of course, we had a guy called Jing who used to bring in his N64 and set it on the colour TV. So
Oh yeah.
I do remember, yeah, sitting and patiently waiting for my turn on Street Fighter.
Oh yeah. Street
Was it
Fighter.
the N64? I think it was the N64. Yeah,
I don't know if it was. I'm assuming it came out on the N64. I don't know. I was never a big Street Fighter fan.
yeah. It was Nintendo. Yeah, it was.
I mean, I had it on the 3DO, Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah. Of course, the
Was it
Game Boy
Turbo?
as well. That when it first was the rage, I was in sixth form at the time. So I remember going to the common room. Everybody owned one of them, but I didn't. I didn't have one of these things.
No, I never owned a Game Boy.
Yeah. But they were the rage at the time. So yeah. I've always been behind. I still am really from a technology point of view. I only owned my first laptop last year.
Yeah, well, you just did everything on your
Which is
phone
my
though
first,
before that, didn't
yeah, it's
you?
my first computer that I bought for myself. Yeah, I think I've owned some second-hand ones. All my consoles obviously are hand-me-downs from you, really.
Well, yeah, you've got my Xbox One X because I've got the Series X, didn't you?
Yeah,
So,
hurry up and buy a PlayStation 5, bitch.
yeah, and you get my PS4 Pro. Well, I will as soon as they come in stock, but it's so hard to get any at the minute.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know somebody at work who got one recently, but he won a lottery ticket to
Oh, I
buy
was
it.
lucky.
Um, so yeah, the fact that he had to or buy a lottery ticket, or not a lottery ticket literally, like as in the national
I know what you
lottery
mean, though.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. It's amazing how in such short supply they are. I think they should have
mm,
delayed the launch, I think, until they had enough.
yeah. Now, Steve, you're not gonna ask me for my top 10 games, are you? Because I'm not too sure
No.
if I could.
I don't
Have
think
I
I
tell
could
you a
tell you a
time?
top 10 games. I don't know if I've got 10 games I
No,
like
that'd be
that
fun.
much.
You could guess 10 top games, and I could go yeah or nay that I've played.
Uh, let's see. Well, you've already said Colin McRae, but we've both played that. Oh, I know one you probably haven't played, which isn't going to help you in your top 10. Sonic Adventure
No,
on
I
the
haven't played that.
Dreamcast.
No,
Let's think
definitely
of a
not played
game
that.
because we tend to like the same games, but we do also like different games. Because have you played the FIFA games on the modern
Of course, I
consoles?
played the FIFA games. Yeah, I
Yeah,
played
I
the
thought
FIFA
you would
games.
have. Yeah, versus I got with my original Xbox FIFA 14, and I thought, oh, I should have got a
Now
different
I can tell
bundle,
you a
really.
quick FIFA story. So I remember uh, FIFA was quite cool. And we always complained that when FIFA came out, it was, well, you never had like the real player names. You
Oh
just had
yeah.
like these made up names for the teams. You had all the teams and you had the leagues and stuff. But then of course EA comes along and changes that, and you got like not just like the proper divisions and all the proper leagues and everything, but you got the proper players and the proper players and the teams and everything. But it'd always be slightly out of date. But I remember we were looking in some magazine or something of FIFA 95, I think it was,
Oh yeah.
and it was the first cartridge that had all the names, and you could actually change all the names and update it.
Oh wow.
And I remember I picked up a copy in One Step Beyond
Yeah, I remember One Step Beyond.
on the day I got paid at Summerfield, and I kept it secret from my mate, and I took it round his that night, and straight on it, we were just on it. I was so excited. That was one of the most exciting times I bought a game for myself, and I was like a schoolboy bursting for a pee.
Those were.
But
I remember.
it's
I'm trying to think if I had. I mean, I was trying to think when I was younger, because I couldn't wait for the Mega Drive because it had to be ordered from a shop, so I got a Master System instead, which I should have waited
okay.
for the Mega Drive really, because
Yeah.
it 8-bit versus 16-bit, and I would have played Sonic a lot sooner, I'd have thought. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a shame I couldn't wait. But then again, nothing's changed, has it? You know me, I can't wait for things.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
save money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are here. We are, aren't we? And day. I remember getting a Mega Drive. I think I got it second hand off a mate.
Oh yeah,
And and I did enjoy it. There's one cracking game on there called Herzog's Vi.
never heard of
Um,
that.
oh yeah, it was really good. It was like a tank. It was a very unusual game. I don't think it was very well known, but it was basically just like a sort of tank game, built like strategy game where you build tanks and you capture bases and you built armored vehicles. You could issue different orders to them.
All
It was
right.
quite a complicated game, but once you got to grips with it, it was very, very good. I used to play it with another friend, school friend, and had hours of fun playing that. Again, it was very simple in its construct, um,
Yeah,
and yeah, just an awful lot of fun.
I remember playing on the Amiga CD32 after school, and this was Nigel Mansell's Racing, or F1 Racing or something. And of course, it looked nothing like they do nowadays, and I was always really bad at it, but I enjoyed it
Yeah,
for the time. And James
yeah.
Pond 2 Robocod. That was a
No,
that was a
yeah, that
funny game.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, because on the Amiga CD version, it had like a cartoon sequence at the start. I always remember that. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Brings back memories. But I'll tell you, my first time I ever got a Sony console, which was a PlayStation 1, and they were sold out everywhere. And Mum, I'd just got back from school, I think, because I was in high school at the time. It was 97, and Mum came in and she said, "Oh, I've been able to find you one," or we phoned up around and we went to Choices.
Oh yeah.
You remember that place? And we went there and we
Yeah.
got one. Now, I had already bought 2 PlayStation games already, but I didn't have a console to play them on.
Right. Okay.
So that night I played the first Need for Speed,
Okay.
and I don't remember what the
Uh,
other game was. But I enjoyed that so much. Because I had originally played it on the 3DO, but it looked a lot better on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah. I do remember the first Need for Speed actually. Again, not on a console. Trying to think what console that came out on. Was it the
It
PlayStation?
was originally the 3DO, then it launched on the... I know it was on PC as
Okay.
well, but then it went to PlayStation 1. The original, I mean.
Right. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
called the Need for Speed or Need for Speed.
Yeah. I think by the time I actually owned a PlayStation 1, how did I experience that on the 360 first? I
Oh,
really
what, you
can't
mean like
remember.
Most Wanted or something?
It was, ouch. Yeah, but I think I played it with Phil first. That was introduced to it because it was a new sort of driving concept to me, driving away from the police. Up to that point, I'd only driven bog standard racing car games.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be Most Wanted. Because
Yeah,
that originally came out on original Xbox and they ported it to the 360. And I remember
yeah,
thinking, oh, this port doesn't run as smoothly as the original Xbox one did, just by frame rate. And it didn't look that
yeah.
much better either, to be fair. Not dissing the powers of the
Yeah, no, I know
360,
what you mean.
but it wasn't. Yeah, it was all right game, but of course, being me who loves games but I'm not very good at them, I never completed that one. The
No,
only game.
no,
Did you ever
yeah.
play a game called Heavy Rain, or did you see me play
Um,
it? It was a kind of
yeah, I did. I watched you play it. I never saw you play the whole game, but I thought it was very good. I really enjoyed it.
yeah,
Again, it was the first time I've seen a concept like that before. Thought it was,
yeah,
real. Is it a real time event
yeah. Oh,
thing?
quick time event. Yeah,
Side
you had
event?
some of
Yeah, quick
them.
time event. Yeah, that's the
Well,
one.
I think you had some QTEs in it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I remember now. But yeah, that was a fun game. They re-released it on the PS4, And
Did they? Yeah.
another game they did was Beyond Two Souls.
Okay.
That was a good game as well. Very
Yeah, that's not one I'm
different.
familiar with.
No,
Yeah.
you definitely know if you'd have played that one, definitely. But yeah, they were good. I'm thinking about any other. Do you remember the Dizzy series of games?
No.
Dizzy the
No.
Egg? No, that was more Commodore, I think. Let's see. Well, I know you know about James Pond too, because we talked about that. And you played Sonic. Did you ever play any Mario games on a Nintendo?
Well, Mario Kart again
Oh
on
yeah,
Nintendo. Yeah. Again, the platform games are kind of I had a short attention span for. But the kart ones were good fun. Just because yeah, you four players.
oh, of
So I
course.
quite enjoyed that.
Ah, this is a good question. We talked about the N64. Did you ever play the classic Goldeneye game on it?
No,
Ah, oh, you
not been
missed out
enabled
there.
that one. There was very few
Ah,
titles that I would have experienced on that.
now
Um,
that. Sorry. Oh, sugar! I nearly pulled my keyboard off the desk. Sorry, go on.
yeah, I'm trying to think now. Uh, yeah, I mean, really, I suppose, like, I mean, even on the PlayStation 1, I was still probably, I mean, I know it's sometimes even hard to describe yourself as a gamer. Um,
Well,
really,
how about a casual gamer?
I suppose casual gamer would be better, yeah.
That's not bad, isn't it? Because I know you're not
Yeah,
hardcore.
even when I had the PlayStation 1, there was maybe only, I can think of five titles that I maybe played regularly, and then the rest probably, once or whatever.
Yeah,
But I've tried all sorts of titles, but yeah, there's only a few that have really stuck. Obviously FIFA I've always played.
yeah.
But even now, I never really touch that game unless I've got guests. I play it with another human being. It's not something I play against the computer, for example. And I don't play it online.
Did you ever try the
Um,
Football Manager series?
yeah, I did actually. Championship Manager before that. When
Oh yeah.
Football Manager came out, yeah, it took the market by storm because people were getting a bit annoyed with Championship Manager. They kept, I don't know, playing around with it. And Football Manager came out and it sort of did the whole industry on that game front well to good, really, sort of shook it up.
That's good.
Um, Admittedly, I did actually download one of the latest Football Manager games on Game Pass recently.
Yeah, they've got
And
21, haven't they? Football Manager 21, I noticed. Was
yeah,
it something like that?
so I give that a try, and wow, yeah, I haven't played them in years, so I kind of quickly got overwhelmed by that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit out of touch with football management games now, but they were fun. We know when you had the time to spend hours
Yeah, jiggling your
playing.
teams and creating strategies for
Yeah,
them and everything and
yeah,
selling and buying players. I actually played one. Now, I don't know if this would have still been Football Manager in 98, but I had one, or 99, but I had one on the PC, which I played, and I don't like football, but I enjoyed playing that.
Really? Wow, that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think those games were, initially on the PC. Um,
yeah, they were. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Yeah, they
yeah,
were.
good fun. But I think, yeah, I suppose my casual gaming was short-lived. I suppose I could, when I got into RPGs, I suppose you could remove the casual gamer tag from that point onwards. When Morrowind
Oh,
took a bit from
Morrowind.
me.
Yes, you have to tell us about Morrowind.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's the first time I discovered Bethesda, really, Bethesda games,
yeah,
and I pretty much love every one they've they brought out. Um, my first experience with Morrowind, admittedly, wasn't a good one. Having no concept of what you're bringing yourself into, the kind of world that how open the world is. So
yeah,
every game up to that point, you're kind of instructed how to play through it. With Morrowind, there isn't that. You just
No,
you
they
get
only tell you what
instructions how
buttons to
to move
press,
and
don't
look
they?
around. Yeah,
And that's
and
it.
an
Yeah,
action button. That's it. Basically, how to manipulate your character, but there's no instruction on how to interact in the world.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I think I started with a friend and we spent, I don't know, maybe 20 odd minutes building a character, and we set foot in Sedinine, and we do our release papers, and we go into the shop, and I pick something up, and we're immediately attacked and killed.
Oh dear.
People call him thief, and that was pretty much game over. And we were like, I remember my friend just storming out, goes, "Well, that's a waste of half an hour of my life." He goes, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, well, I'll put that back." And I didn't touch it for um, months, and then I lost
Yeah.
my job, which was kind of convenient, if you want to lose yourself in a digital world. And I remember, I think I'd been to the job centre, I'd done bits and pieces I needed to do for that morning, and I had the rest of the day to myself, so I picked it up, tucked it in, I thought I'll give that another go.
Yeah.
Yeah, 400 hours later, I'm
Wow.
in love with this game, and uh, yeah, I mean it's a bit hard to compare it to games like Skyrim
So
or Oblivion.
I was about to ask you that. You sort of brought me on to the next question. Well, how did you feel about Oblivion, where it went into where everything was spoken rather than you had to read everything like in Morrowind?
Well, it's I think it's difficult to compare the two games, to be honest with you. I mean, Oblivion. Uh, I think really what you got to understand is that I think Morrowind was a game created for people that use PCs. I don't think it was initially my first experience of Morrowind was on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So it was one of these games that was quickly converted uh, for the console. Um, and therefore, like the combat was completely funky. Graphically, it was a little bit grey, um, and yeah, the whole game was very slow. Um, I think what caught me with it was the atmosphere. The somehow, even though there's a lot of imperfections to the game, there was something about it that you just could immerse yourself, and it really did bring us different world to life. At least it did in my mind, anyway. And I
Yeah.
wasn't smoking then, so it was a good
I don't know
game.
what you could mean.
But we'll just leave it at that, shall we? But anyhow, yeah. So when you look at Oblivion, by this time they've got a game that's evolved for the console. So they've got a combat for it. You've got your shield, you've got your sword, and you've got this proper combat rather than this die roll sequence.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
know
where
what you
you hit
mean.
and miss. So the whole experience is different. But I think they're just beautiful games. You know what I mean? They bring this wonderful world to life that you can kind of escape into. The idea that you can do whatever you like within the game. There's no rules or restrictions per se. I
Yeah.
think is a beautiful thing. And I don't think it's been emulated anywhere else really. copied, yeah, but not
Oh
emulated,
yeah, definitely
really.
copied. Well, you see,
Um,
Oblivion was um, my first
yeah,
Elder Scrolls game, and then I went back to Morrowind, and I'm sorry, I haven't. This is going to make me sound, well, I'm lazy anyway, but I just didn't. It turned me off having to read so much in Morrowind,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know me,
It's
I'm one of these people that have to be shown where to go, or this is your next objective, so you go
yeah.
here.
I think if you didn't play Morrowind in its time, then you kind of missed your moment. And to be honest, Oblivion's a fantastic game. It's a bit unfair to say it's a dumbed down version of Morrowind. It's more heavily converted for console users.
Yeah,
But I mean, you could. There's certain things about Morrowind which was a lot more in depth, but it meant also hundreds of hours of game time more to be played, just so that you could level up a particular skill set. Which, to be honest with you, I think they needed to take out that kind of detail out of the game because otherwise, it's just like you just never complete the game. Otherwise,
yeah,
the amount of reading, everything. I think that's something I kind of accepted.
yeah,
I probably had a harder time converting to the speech
yeah.
on
I can
Oblivion.
understand that.
Uh, but I quickly adapted. And by the time you get to Skyrim, they've kind of perfected the combat as well. You can see I actually quite like comparing Oblivion and Skyrim. I think it's a better comparison anyway. Um, it's almost the same game engine.
Well, it is.
But
They've just added a bit onto it, and they.
yeah, and as far as like the combat is concerned, I think that they invented quite a good combat system in Oblivion, but there was room for improvement, and they definitely improved it in Skyrim, and I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of it. The atmospherics and everything, are still all there, of the world, and
Yeah,
yeah, they make good quality work, don't they, Bethesda?
yeah.
And the Fallout as well.
Oh yeah, the Fallout series. Yeah, I'm playing Fallout
Yeah,
76 with Kizra at the minute. So yeah,
yeah, that's good fun. I mean, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, love both games.
yeah. I'm
Love the
also
building
on
aspect of
Fallout
them.
4. I'm on Nuka Cola World, which I've never done. So it should be interesting.
Okay, yeah, good fun.
Obviously, I'm
Fun.
using God mode because I'm a coward and I don't like getting killed. But and
Yeah,
everyone always says to me, or a lot of people say, "Well, how do you get enjoyment out of it?" And I say, "Well, I just enjoy the story rather than having to worry about always healing myself or what weapon is this meant, and figuring out what weapons to use and everything." So,
yeah,
see,
yeah. Well, I
all
mean,
games should have a
get.
Steven mode. That's what I think.
Well, I don't disagree. I think you get out of games what you want to get out of. You're not what other people think you should get out of games anyway. I mean, people could ask me the same thing. I mean, I don't think I've actually completed Fallout 4.
Oh
Not that
yeah.
I don't want to, but there's a building aspect to that game. I just love building.
Oh, I've seen
I'm
some
not
of them.
really
You did brilliantly, didn't you?
well, just like again, hundreds of hours of wasted game time, or
Well,
my
not
time. Just,
really. 'Cause
but
you
at
got
the end,
enjoyment out of it, didn't you? It's the main thing.
yeah, I really enjoy the creativity part of it. It's like that kind of Lego set online.
Oh yeah,
Um, and again, Minecraft that got me.
yeah.
So
We
yeah,
used to play it
building
online
things like
together,
that.
didn't we? I've still got a
Yeah,
couple of our worlds actually
you
saved.
have, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool, cool.
have to look
So
up that
yeah, I do
again.
enjoy my RPGs. I do enjoy my buildy stuff, and I do enjoy my shooty stuff as well. So I mean, Halo, uh, COD, and Battlefield all up there, and my favourites, I guess, as well.
Yeah. Oh, will you get the new Halo game coming out in holiday season? Halo Infinite, is it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when I say Halo, one of my favourites, I should say past tense.
Oh right.
I
Did you only
think,
like
yeah,
certain one or couple?
I just kind of got bored of it. I think,
Yeah.
especially once the original game makers are kind of with nothing to do with it anymore.
Oh, it was Bungie, weren't it?
Story. Yeah.
Isn't it 343 Industries or something? 343 something?
Yeah.
Taken over now?
Like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and just slag off whatever company took it over, but I just think it just sort of fell under the weight of its own success, really. What I enjoyed about Halo um, was it was a really sweet little science fiction story.
Yeah.
1 and 2, I was really sold by the science fiction story.
Yeah, I liked 1 and 2.
The world they were building behind it, yeah. And
2 was my
after,
favourite, I think.
Yeah, they were building a really cracking mythology, and then, I don't know, 3 comes along, and it just went all Hollywood on my arse, and I just, yeah, I'd never really got the gusto back for it.
Was Halo 2 on the original Xbox or the 360? Yeah, it was original, wasn't it?
I think it was the original Xbox.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I
Yeah.
remember Bungie being complaining that graphically they were always disappointed with 2, but I remember 2 being my favourite.
Well, they were able to remaster it, weren't they?
Yeah, they did
Eventually.
Yeah, admittedly, that's something I'd love to play because
It's on Game Pass.
yeah, what I enjoyed about it 2 is that it had a really good co-op.
Yes, it did, didn't it? It did.
And I played a lot of happy game hours with Phil playing Halo 2, you know, beating up the big sort of spider weapons and stuff that are walking about and going through the town. So graphically, I didn't really notice that it was poor graphically because I was so happy with the smoothness of the combat. It didn't crash, it wasn't buggy, it was nice and challenging, and I could shoot the crap out of aliens all day long. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
3 was good and everything, but like I say, I think they just kind of killed off too many characters, and I think they just went crazy, and I kind of like lost my way with it. It did revive itself a little bit. Reach, I enjoyed.
I found Reach really hard. I haven't completed Reach
It was
yet.
really difficult, yeah. And ODST, I quite enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I never completed that either.
Again, I've still got 5. I've got Halo 5 sitting there on Game Pass, and I haven't had any urge to go back and play
I
it, really.
really didn't like Halo 5 that much. Again, I don't know if I completed that. Didn't we start playing it? No.
Yeah, I started playing it with you. And
Yeah.
Again, I don't really. There's nothing particularly bad about it, but again, it just felt a bit too Hollywood, and I loved the off-the-cuff science fiction the thing had in the first place. So yeah, I think I've just grown out of it really more than anything else.
Yeah.
But you never know, it might make a comeback. I thought I'd grown out of Star Wars, and somebody did the Mandalorian, and now I'm back on that.
Well, you got me into that, didn't you? And that was really good. I enjoyed watching that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think good stuff sells itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what I'm like. If I see something that I really like, I go on and on about it till you feel you're submerged by it.
Well, on that lovely note, I will say thank you ever so much for joining me on my first, well, if you can call it a podcast, it's just us talking, isn't it? But
Well,
I suppose that's what a podcast is.
As long as it checks in the post, Stephen, like you promised.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not a big YouTube channel. I'm not even monetized, but I always said I wouldn't get monetized even if I was a big YouTube channel. But
that's not what you told me before the podcast. It's my solicitor.
No, what I told you,
No problem.
what I told you before the podcast can never be repeated on a podcast.
Oh, yeah. All right. At least before the watershed, is that what you said?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But well, thank you anyway. And you're welcome to say goodbye if you wish, and then I'll end it. And I'll say thank you. So join us again, everyone, for hopefully next week we will have Kizra back. If not, it will be me playing some hopefully entertaining stuff. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.